Hey guys, this is Rob with AIM. This is part 4 of our Swimming 101 series. I hope you've had a chance to look at segments 1, 2, and 3 because we're going to kind of build on those as we talk here. The fourth segment that we want to get into is what we call the vicious cycle of breathing as it is associated with swimming. Okay, we talked about domino number 1, where you've got to get nice and tall in the water. That increases your hydrodynamics in between strokes. Domino number 2 was about getting your hips up nice and high in the water. Domino number 3, we talked about just bringing it all together, okay? The idea that you're going to be tall, that's how you're breathing and when your breathing component comes in. The fourth one that we want to talk about is the kick. The kick has a lot of arguments amongst triathletes versus traditional swimmers in the whole 9 yards. What we want you to think about is the quadriceps are the largest consumer of oxygen in the body, okay? Go back to our last video that we talked to you about, the vicious cycle of you start getting your arm in shorter and shorter, so you lose the hydrodynamics. You stop pressing your chest so your hips drop, okay? Then you stop rotating, so now the amount of air that you're able to actually take in is minimized. Well, what we want you to realize, what makes the fourth segment so frustrating for a lot of people is you slightly pick your head up, okay, you're swimming along. We talked about the 90 degree in segment 3, okay? You pick your head up to breathe instead of purposely rotating. So you pick your head up, your hips drop, okay? So the first correcting mechanism, whether you know it, if you're doing it consciously or not, is you're going to overkick your legs to bring your hips up. That's the first self-correcting mechanism you're going to lean on. Well, remember what we just said. The quadriceps consume the greatest amount of oxygen. So when your hips start to drop, if you kick 8, 10, 12, 16 times to bring your hips up, you've then sucked more oxygen out of your system. You're already not rotating. Remember, this is you swimming towards you. Instead of rotating to breathe, okay, I'm going to switch the angle to the side. Now your hips have dropped because you're breathing up in the front quadrant. Hips are dropping. So for you to correct it, you overkick. You still aren't getting good rotation, so you're not filling your lungs up with air, and now you're swimming in a circle. Okay, this should sound pretty familiar to a lot of you who've been out in the middle of a race or even a big open water swim, and all of a sudden, the beginning of the workout or the beginning of the race, you feel really good. But then in a very short period of time, it starts to go south, okay? Let me fast forward a little bit. Put yourself in an open water environment. The reason why it happens so quickly is you have to sight. Well, sighting, unfortunately, goes against the law of physics and hydrodynamics because we've already said to you, when you pick your head up, your hips drop. Well, guess what? You have to look and see where you're going, okay? That's an advanced skill that we talk about in a future video series. But what we want you to understand is if you're conscious of it, yes, you're going to have to sight, but if you can over-exaggerate the pressing of the chest, yes, you are going to have to pick your head up to sight, okay? Remember, you don't have to have your whole face out of the water, just your eyes enough to sight the buoy, okay? But the idea is, yes, you are going to have to pick your head up to sight. What you want to fight the tendency is relying on your legs in the back, over-kicking to correct the hips. You want to focus more on pressing your chest. You want to make sure that you're pulling back as quickly as possible, okay? It's going to keep your forward momentum going. There's going to be a little bit of a downward to get your head up. But again, this happens in a very quick, short period of time. But if I can't get you aware of the physics of it, unfortunately, when fatigue and high heart rate and everything else starts to kick in, your swimming is going to become very difficult for you. And that's what we want to avoid, okay? So we hope you've enjoyed this 4-part series. I hope that you'll take the time to go through each one of the segments, extrapolate what we're trying to teach you. Okay, take it to the pool and apply it. Don't worry about how many yards you swam. Don't worry about how fast you swam it. Take the time to incorporate each one. The next series of videos we're going to put out are going to expand on this. If you haven't mastered these four primary dominoes, nothing else is going to matter. I don't care about angle of elbow. I don't care about hand entry. I don't care about pitch of your wrist. These 4 dominoes are the foundation for you being able to swim long distance, ultimately fast. But what we're most interested in is you swimming efficiently. It's going to avoid any shoulder injuries. It's going to eliminate a lot of your frustrations, okay? So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, email us, Robb, R-O-B-B, number 3, @earthling.net.